Good morning, friends. How are you? I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for checking me out. This is not going to be a regular sort of episode. This is sort of a short check-in episode, but I'll explain that in a little bit. And if you're a regular viewer, thanks so much for popping in and saying hello or watching me say hello, however you want to view that. It's early. It's probably not even 8 a.m. and the sun is coming up over there, which is why I've got light coming on me this way. And I'm on my front porch, which I don't record on the front porch very often, but right now it's just the easiest place to get to because we haven't cleaned up our back deck and the table and chairs out there for the warm weather yet. So that was going to be on our agenda a weekend or so ago, and then life happened, and there's been a lot of life happening, which is partly to blame for why I haven't done an April episode yet. But anyway, I had a little bit of time this morning before I was going to get to work, and I thought I would just come out here and sit because it's a beautiful morning. We've had lovely weather this whole week. It's been sunny and warm. We've had weather in the 70s, which you don't often get in April. Well, I guess you do sometimes. We are this year. Anyway, whatever. I'm in the mountains of southwestern PA, in case you don't know. And today is Friday, April, I think it's the 14th? I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to come on and say hi. I don't have any show notes, but I just thought I'd chat and catch you up on what's been going on here at the mountain house and in my life, and I hope you are well. So first off, just to get it out of the way, there's absolutely nothing new going on in the shop right now. The only notable thing is the holiday countdown sets are still up for pre-order, which again, they're going to be up through mid-June, so it's not like a huge rush if you haven't gotten yours yet, but just know that they're there. The theme is Middle-earth winter this year, so it'll all be very Tolkien themed colorways, and I'm very excited about that. So that's in there. The last time I recorded a regular episode, I did show you some weaving products that I've made, and I was going to put those in the shop. I still plan to, I just haven't put them up yet because time and spoons, I just haven't been able to do that. Mainly I need to get pictures, and photographing woven objects is very different than photographing yarn for shop listings. That's what I'm finding. So I'm still working on that, hopefully soon. Just, you know, like I said, I'll send out a newsletter and let people know when those are up in the shop. So anyway, that's all I have to say about shop stuff. Otherwise, yeah, I've mainly been in show prep mode. We leave a week from today to head down to Frederick, Maryland, to set up for the Frederick Fiber Fest, which is next Saturday, so a week from tomorrow, the 22nd. So if you're going to be there, please stop by the booth. I would love to see you and say hi, because it's my first show since pre-pandemic, so it's been a while, and I forgot how much goes into prepping for a show. Like, I knew, like in my brain, I knew like this was going to be a lot of work, but there's peripheral things that I totally forgot about. Matter of fact, last night was the first night that I had what I'm going to probably assume was like a stress dream, where I was dreaming about all of the things that could potentially go wrong, which hopefully they won't, but you know, it happens. Also, in case you haven't seen me record in my front yard before, the road is right behind you, and so you're gonna hear road noise. Sorry, can't do much about that. Anyway, yeah, so today will be my last day of dyeing self-striping for the show, which is a huge hurdle, because then that means I just have to spend days rescanning all the self-striping, but I'm hoping to knock that out over the weekend. I still have a little bit of non-self-striping that I'm going to dye for the show, so that shouldn't take very long. And then it's just a matter of getting everything labeled and input into my my program and all the stuff like that, and then making sure I have signage and making sure I have all the things I haven't had to focus on for 3 years. So if you're coming to the show, who knows what my booth is going to look like. Hopefully it'll look nice. But yeah, it's going to be an adventure. So that is primarily what I have been spending almost all of my waking hours doing. And in amongst all of that, I'm just super tired because that's a lot. Just prepping for the show is a lot, actually. But I'm tired, and by next Sunday I'll be ready to just collapse. Although next Sunday we won't be home because the day after the show we're gonna hang out with my grandson, and then but that next week I intend to at least take a day of downtime because I think I deserved it. Anyway, amid all of that going on, and the sun is now really coming at me, sorry. I know, the shadows are horrible, but hopefully you can forgive me because this is not technically a really planned episode or anything. As far as my crafting, I just haven't had, I haven't had the energy. I've been super tired, and when I am done working in the evenings, like I just don't have a lot of energy to do much of anything. And in the mornings, like once Bill leaves for work, I've actually been going down to the studio pretty soon after that. Today is the first day. I haven't done that in several days. The upside to starting to dye at like 6 a.m. is the fact that I get done and have everything rinsed much earlier in the day than usual, because if I do it my normal time, I'm still rinsing yarn like after dinner, and I kind of like to be done before dinner. So that's been pretty decent. But yeah, my crafting has been limited, but I have worked on a couple things, so I'll just show those to you really quick. I cast on a sock, which is going to be a pair of socks for Bill. His birthday is at the end of the month. I don't know if I'll have them done by then. Maybe I'll have one done and I can give that to him and then owe him the second one. But it's my Pub Vibes colorway. I had most of the skein left over because I had knit the sample, and then I bound that off. So I'm just basically, I'm on the cuff. I think I'm going to do, let's see, I have 1, 2... Yeah, I think I'm going to do this yellow stripe and then go into the heel. And since I don't have a full skein, I'm going to do this mini for the heel. This isn't the actual color that matches this, but it matches close enough for my husband's socks. Let's put it that way. So anyway, that I've worked on a little bit here and there. He's seen me working on it. He doesn't know they're for him, and he won't care. So anyway, a little bit of work on that. And then the other morning, I didn't know what I wanted to do because I haven't really, aside from that sock, I haven't really had anything on the go. And so I picked up my languishing Highland slipover because it's been in timeout. I showed it to you after the great sleeve band and neck fiasco. And I just never touched it after that. But I thought, you know what? This bag has been sitting in the corner of my bedroom ever since then, and I'm tired of looking at it, and I would like to just get this finished. Even though I know it's never going to be super perfect, I would like to at least make some progress on it. So I pulled it out the other morning, and I did re-knit the armhole cuffs. So there's 2 cuffs, 1 on each side. I am at this point not looking at the pattern at all. I just picked up the stitches that seemed right to pick up. I'm hoping once I block it, they will lay flatter, because right now they want to curl in. I'm sure blocking will help that. So I did that, and then I also redid the neckline. After I did the armholes, I tried it on, and because of the way it is, it still wants to pull a little bit towards the back, but because I picked up more stitches this time on the armholes, for the back of the sleeve and fewer on the front, that's helping to mitigate it a little bit. It still does want to kind of drift towards the back. However, when I have it on as straight as I could have it, the neckline was super low in the front, but it's going up my neck in the back. I know I screwed something up somewhere along the line. I'm beyond the point of caring what I screwed up. I'm just trying to mitigate the disaster and make it wearable. So what I ended up doing is I went around and I picked up stitches all around the neckline, and then I worked short rows from the shoulder seam to shoulder seam, doing fewer stitches each time so that I could build up the front of the neckline. So if you look at it, you can see like the lower part is definitely wider, and it gets narrower as it goes up. And then on the back, I just had that first picked up row. I think I did one round, and then when I was done with the short rows, I also did one round so that I could resolve my wraps and turns from the short rows, and then I just bound off. So the back is very narrow. You can see how narrow the band is there compared to the front. But again, I think once it's blocked, it'll be fine. But it does really, it goes up like into my hairline. That's how high it is in the back. So as far as I'm concerned, this part's done. So now I just need to finish the bottom. And I tried it on after I did the neckline. And I think I'm just going to start doing ribbing now and do like 2 or 3 inches of ribbing, and then it'll be done. My original plan was to do a split hem, but because it's hanging so weird, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, because the back is going to end up way longer than the front. I feel like that's how it's going to turn out. I don't know. Again, I don't care at this point. I just want it done. It'll be a garment that I can at least wear around the house in the winter with something long sleeved under it, and it'll keep me warm. So I'm cautiously optimistic that it'll be okay. It won't be the best garment I've ever knit. I've made my peace with that, and that's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. But that's really all I've worked on. I did show you, hang on, I gotta bend over and get it. Okay, so the other thing I did show you when I recorded last was my April Personal Stash Yarn Challenge yarn, which was this yarn, which are 2 skeins of Done Roving yarn that I got at a yarn shop in Maine, actually at the Done Roving yarn shop in Maine a couple years ago on a vacation. And I had mentioned to you whenever I opened the bag and showed it to you that when I bought it, I purchased it with the intention of making a 2 skein shawl out of it. And that, the more I've thought about it, that is definitely what I want to do with this yarn. However, my pattern that I'm designing, which is in testing, is, I think everybody's almost done with it at this point, but I still need to do a 2 skein fingering weight sample, because that's the only one I have not completed yet. Actually, I haven't started it because I need to dye the yarn that I want to use for it. Since I know I'm going to be doing that very soon, I do not want to have 2 fingering weight shawls, two skein fingering weight shawls on the go at one time. So I made the executive decision that this is not going to be my April Personal Stash Yarn Challenge yarn. I will use it at some point, but since I know I want to use it for a shawl, and this would not work for the 2 skein shawl that I'm designing, I'm going to save this for some future date, and I am substituting something else. And this is also from my stash. It's actually quite old stash, so I sort of feel better about it. Matter of fact, it's also more yardage. Okay, there's going to be a little crinkling. Hang on. I'll try to cut the crinkling. So this is yarn that I got when I was at TNNA several years ago, because TNNA hasn't been doing their shows anymore. So it's been at least, I would say, 4 or 5 years, 5, 6 years maybe even. I don't know. Anyway, so it's from Wonderland Yarns. I don't know if they're still in business. I kind of assume they are, but I don't know that for sure. But it was a set that had this one variegated skein, and then this is a set of, I guess they're minis. Let's see. I know it says somewhere on here. They are 1 ounce skeins that have 128 yards per 1 ounce. So that's more than like a regular mini. like a 20-gram mini, because 1 ounce is 100 grams is 3.5 ounces. So I'll let you do that mental math. Anyway, it's larger than a regular mini, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of colors in this gradient, and I really love this gradient. And I'm going to use I'm going to weave with this. I am going to do the warp. I think I'm going to do the warp in the variegated. And then I'm going to do my weft in these colors, just going up the gradient, and hope that I have enough length that I can do that. I kind of want to do a little bit of research on how to do this the most efficiently and get the most yarn usage out of it without having to what do I want to say? Like, I want to be able to use an entire mini at a time. And I think if I do that, actually, I may not end up using all the minis. It kind of depends on the yardage, because there's 640 yards total in all these minis, and there's 512 yards in this skein, which is a bigger, it's a 4-ounce skein. And I don't know how that'll work. I think it should be good. I have to calculate how long I can make my warp with this, because I really want to use all this yarn for the warp. So anyway, that is my plan. That is what I am substituting for my April Personal Stash Yarn Challenge yarn. And yeah, I just, again, haven't had time. And I may not actually have time to warp my loom until after the show, but that's okay. At least I have a plan and I know what I want to do. And I will use those other 2 skeins for a shawl as planned when I bought the yarn at some point. I'm just not pressuring myself. I figure it's my own personal stash yarn challenge. I'm allowed to change the rules. Or not really, I'm not changing the rules. I'm just changing it up because. So. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. The shadow is really weird here, but I sat the chair specifically in this direction because if I did it in this direction, you'd see our wood splitter and sawhorses and stuff that we have stored out on this front porch. The really fun thing about our front porch is probably within the next year or 2, it's no longer going to be a porch. We're going to tear all the decking off and redo the decking. Well, we're going to put a floor. This is going to be turned into a room. So like we have the porch room that I record in a lot of time in the back of the house. This is going to be a second porch room. Which originally, whenever I first moved up here after Bill and I got married, we were originally going to build the room then and turn this area into my studio, which it was kind of exciting to think I was going to have designated studio space, but then the more I thought about it, the less I really wanted my studio space to be right at the front of the house where I would always be able to see it from wherever else I was in the living room or kitchen or dining room. Because I just didn't want my work is around me all the time as it is, and I just didn't feel like I needed it to be that in my face all the time. That and the fact that we were able to set up my studio space temporarily down in the basement, and it turned out to be perfect because there was already the sinks down there where we would have had to have run water up here, and it's just so convenient and it works really well. So I was really happy to not have to build that room for my studio, and Bill was very happy to not have to deal with the plumbing and the electric and everything that would have had to have been done for this room. But we are going to still turn it into a room. I think it's going to become our gym room, our exercise room. We're going to move the treadmill out here. Bill has some weight machines that are just in storage because we don't have anywhere else for them right now. So eventually we will have an extra room. And there will still be like an entryway where we'll have room for the grill and stuff like that in the front. But yeah, so that's the future of the porch. I'm sure that's exciting for you to know. Oh, there goes another truck. You know, it's funny, like, you can hear the traffic, but we have a big privacy fence in the front of our yard, and I would say there's like between me and the privacy fence, there's probably 30 feet. I don't know. I'm really bad at estimating feet and distance. So it's not like I can see the road, but you can definitely hear it when you're out here. So whatever. I don't notice it unless I'm out here recording, because any other time I'm just so used to it. It's just like background noise and it doesn't faze me. So anyway, that's what's going on with me here in my world. And again, I'm sorry that I haven't had a chance to record a real April episode, but honestly, this is kind of all that's been going on anyway. There's a robin over here on... There's also a ton of firewood because Bill's been cutting more wood. Actually, our neighbor... I'm just at the point of just chattering at you now. Our neighbor had a big oak tree come down in some high winds that we had a couple weeks ago. And so he's been over there cleaning that up for her and bringing a lot of the wood over here that he's going to split for firewood. But it just means we now once again have tons of wood laying here for firewood, as if we don't already have enough firewood to last us for years. But yeah, this robin was over there just doing a little dance on the one log, and it was kind of funny to watch. So anyway. Alright guys, that's it. Again, if you are coming to the Frederick Fiber Fest next weekend, I would love to see you. Please stop by and say hi. And if I'm not going to see you there, then thank you for checking in here. And I will hopefully get to do like a real episode closer to the end of the month after my show. If you are a member of this channel, thank you so much for your continued support, and I will get a members video up sometime soonish, I hope. I have a couple of ideas. Again, it's just a matter of having the time to do it, because show life. Hashtag show life. I don't know. Anyway, take care guys. I hope you're well. Talk to you again soon. Bye.